When the first Olympic Games in the modern era were held in 1896, the only way to experience them was by being physically there, in Athens, live at the events. Fast forward to 1924, and the Olympic Games were first broadcast live on radio. It wasn't until 1948 that the live events were first broadcast directly into people's homes on TV. "2016 marks in many respects the culmination of the Olympic Games journey of more than a century. Rio 2016 will be an Olympic Games that many consume live through digital channels. This scale of progress doesn't happen by chance. It is the result of vision and hard work. For us, the Olympic Games are the perfect example of human achievement, powered by technology. And as worldwide IT partner, we are proud turning the Olympic Games securely into a fully connected and digital experience.
Good morning. The Olympic Games, the biggest sporting event in the world. 10,500 athletes, 23,000 journalists, 50,000 volunteers, 300,000 members of the Olympic family. Think 20 times the Football World Cup. The Olympic Games are watched by 4 billion people worldwide, and the results of the Olympic Games are brought in less than 0.5 seconds to the world by Atos technology. It is a fairly high visibility event, and it attracts a certain type of people. We are in Rio de Janeiro. We had 400 security events per second attacking the Olympic Games with no impact to the Games itself. And that is actually double the number of London, where we had about 200 events per second. Think about setting up and running the Olympic Games like setting up a company in 7 years, from 0 to 200,000 employees, operating for 16 days for the Olympics and 11 days for the Paralympics, 24/7, with 4 billion people watching. And we do that every 2 years for the Winter and Summer Games in completely different geographies. Atos has been part of the Olympic Games since 1992 in Barcelona, and we actually started off with client-server technology the first time in Barcelona. And it's in Rio de Janeiro the cloud found its way into the Olympic squad. We ran some of our non-critical games applications on the cloud. And in Pyeongchang, in South Korea, for the Winter Games in 2018, all of the Olympic Games will be delivered over the cloud. And that will help to, of course, provide easier information access to the athletes, to the journalists, to the Olympic family, but also, of course, make it a better customer experience to everybody watching. Rio de Janeiro was the most connected Games ever. We actually had more people consuming the Olympic Games via social media than through a traditional TV broadcasting technology, truly a world first. But we are also not using technology only for customer experience. Cloud technology is changing the way how we prepare and test and monitor and deliver the Olympic Games. Just for those of you who are interested into testing, we are testing every Games 200,000 hours before the start day with the opening ceremony. And what will change, for example, testing now, for Pyeongchang, we are holding a virtual lab or virtual venue in our cloud. And so we can start to test the configuration, the equipment, the setup of the venue technology. And imagine how big a relief that is for the team which is responsible for the beach volleyball venue, which normally is set up just weeks before the games start, with technology being one of the last things being allowed into the venue itself, reducing, compressing our time to test to sometimes days. So we now can pre-test in the cloud. So you might wonder, what has diversity to do with Olympic Games and perhaps with the cloud? The last 3 Olympic Games have been delivered by female chief integration officers. On the left side, you're seeing Marta. She has been delivering the Sochi Games, and she is now the CEO of our major events team. Next to me, you see Michelle Hiron. She was not only the deputy chief integration officer in Beijing, she was running the London Games, she was running the Rio Games, and after a well-deserved break, she will be in December in Tokyo getting ready for 2020. 40% of our major events team is female. Senior management team is female, running one of the most high-profile technology projects in the world. So, why does diversity matter? Does it matter for business? Again, we have many studies which show that diverse companies outperform their peers. Here, a recent study of McKinsey, the top quartile of gender diverse companies outperform their peers by 15%. And of course, correlation doesn't mean causation, that's understood. But there are enough studies to say that we can assume that a diverse leadership, diverse company is providing some form of competitive advantage. So, have we made progress? We have been speaking about technology diversity for many years. This chart is showing us, through the colors of the countries, the percentage of women in senior management position, and with the arrows is showing you the trend between 2009 and 2015. And what you can see here is that, yes, in Russia, indeed, the one big country has 40% of women in senior management, unfortunately going down. In the Western world, about 20 to 30% of women in senior management position, but clearly a lot of red. So the answer is we have made some progress, but definitely slow and limited to date. And of course, diversity in a business is not only a matter for business itself, it's also, of course, the society in which we grow up, in which we live. And definitely the values and belief systems in society influence of how we, how diversity can play out and can be brought to bear in a company. In addition to values in the society, we also, of course, know about unconscious bias, and that plays a huge role. We all like to hang out with the same type of people. We like to hire and promote people which are similar to us. And the unconscious bias is preventing us to spot when inequality occurs. And again, equality doesn't mean we need to be all the same, and the working environment needs to cater for equality as well. We talk about senior women, lack of board representation in the technology industry. But if you look at the 3 challenges which women have in the corporate world, we can break it down in we are unable to enter, we are stuck in the middle, and we are locked out of the top. If you look at the technology industry in comparison to other industries, our biggest problem is actually to attract women. The average of entry-level role across all industries is 45%. We attract 37%. And of course, that's linked to the fact that we do not have enough girls studying, math and science subjects, that we don't have enough, women taking up engineering degrees and technology degrees, limiting the pool of women we have access to. And if we all continue to hire based on the recruitment criteria, needs to have studied, needs to have a technology degree, needs to have an engineering degree, guess what? We will not make big progress in regards to diversity in the technology industry. So for example, one of the programs some of our people, youngsters or graduates run in the UK is, the female graduates, is called IT Meets High Tea. In a nice hotel with British tea, as one would have, they are inviting our female staff is talking to female students about what technology jobs we can offer. And of course, we are looking at, in Atos, how we can, for example, broaden our skills pool by retraining people, by reskilling people, by reaching out to different degrees, but also by reaching out to high schools and offering internship programs from the very start. The second topic, which we all discuss often, is pay gap. According to the World Economic Forum, in average, men earn $20,000, women $11,000 in the world. And just to cheer you up, it will take us 113 years if we continue at this pace to close the pay gap. And of course, there are many reasons for that. One of the reasons is, of course, women work more often in part-time jobs. Women join industries which have lower paid roles, like nursing and hospitality. And women are impacted by the children years. Women over 40 never catch up on the pay gap which develops in that time. Good news in the technology industry, as you can see here on the left side, we pay more, so we pay well, but still 20% less pay for women, and that's again a UK statistic, than we do, but I bet it's similar. We have data across the world, but very similar to what we see across the world. It's 20% less. And the only positive I take out of this as a senior executive, the pay gap is clearly not widening when I reach the top of the industry in comparison to some of the other industries. So I was wondering, so clearly we still have a problem as far as diversity is concerned. And of course it takes time. As I said, it takes time to make these changes. And I was wondering whether cloud companies are actually having a positive impact on diversity. So I couldn't find data points across the whole industry, so we were looking at the big names in the cloud industry, and we're trying to think, okay, what's the percentage of women in this industry? And indeed, the numbers are slightly higher. So I would say the true cloud companies have about 30% of women in their business. So 5 percentage points more than the average technology industry, but clearly yet not the gender parity which we're looking for. And I must say, I heard from Sudhir that we have reached gender parity in our Cloud Foundry team in India. We have 50% of our team are women and 50% of our team is men. And that carries on into the leadership team, which I think is a fantastic achievement of the team at our company. As such, cloud is really, it enables us. Cloud technology is driving the digital workplace. We can work anywhere, we can work remotely, we can resource share. And it's also, of course, driving different ways of working. We heard about agile working, how important it is. Agile working is particularly successful if you have multi-skilled teams. Again, and diverse teams, because it allows us to bring the ideas into the process very fast and do the learn fairly fast. And also, cloud is enabling businesses to have a global reach. 50% of the consumers are women. You have culturally diverse consumers. And believe me, cloud adoption and buying behavior varies and is different between men and women and between different cultures. So again, surely as cloud companies or companies operating in the cloud, diversity should matter. So what else what can we do? What works? What can we learn from companies who have done it? The single most important point is commitment. Business change only happens when people commit. Senior people, but everybody else in the room as well. Look out for a woman in your business and see how you can help her, practically really help her to achieve her career goals. Explain her the world of working from a male perspective. Go to high schools, talk to your children, and explain them the fantastic jobs we have in the technology industry. And don't forget to look at your numbers. Because look at your hiring statistic, look at your recruitment statistic, look at your promotion statistics. Where can you see inequality? And then go and unblock the biases. It can be simple processings. It can be simple, looking at how many women do we actually ask to be put forward to promotion interviews. And watch your unconscious bias. I heard yesterday a story of a very well-known technology company in the UK run by a female CEO. She insisted that they're looking at a diverse pipeline of recruitment for their graduate and internship programs, and all was going well till the moment the job offers were made. The diverse pipeline turned into male offers only, showing you how deep-rooted our unconscious biases are, looking for people who are similar to ourselves. And of course, learn from others. What we have found, everybody is interested to share, and often we're actually willing to come together to change the technology industry together. I have talked about diversity and gender diversity so far. And coming back to the study, which I showed here at the beginning, think about ethnic diversity as well. Top quartile ethnic diverse companies are outperforming their peers by 35%. And it should not surprise you, therefore, that our team of Rio de Janeiro contained 23 different nationalities. Cultural diversity is planned into the way how we prepare, operate, and deliver the games. And for us, diversity doesn't stop there. For me and for the team, many of the fond memories and were the remarkable achievement of the Paralympics athletes during Rio 2016. And again, for us, that is another angle on diversity. And again, if you're operating in the cloud, making your systems accessible, making them easy to consume by a wide variety of people, by an aging consumer base, is critical again for all of us to succeed in business in the long term. So, how would I conclude? Diversity matters, and diversity matters from a business perspective. A diverse workforce should give every company a competitive advantage, should give you better access to a diverse global consumer base. So my advice to you, if you want to outperform your peers, simply get yourself a diverse workforce. So thank you very much, and thank you very much to Cloud Foundry. And my thank you very much to Cloud Foundry to give me this opportunity to make the case for diversity in this industry.